Hello and welcome back to A Chapter a Day. It is Sunday, first day of the new week, and it is also March the 24th, and we will be reading Exodus chapter 33. So, we are now in the on the Mount of Sinai, and the people are camping around the Mount of Sinai as God had to talk with them through Moses. And while God was talking to Moses and giving him the law written by God's own hand on stone, the people decided, hey, Moses is taking too long up there. We can't see him. We can't hear anything. We need to have some sort of representation of God. Okay, so they went to Aaron, who I guess became a bit jittery, afraid, to tell you truthfully, and decided he would help them out with their representation. So everyone was ordered to bring their gold earrings, etc., and give it to him. And I guess he, with his craftsmanship, was able to make a molten calf. When the noise was heard as they partied and caroused around this calf, God told Moses, hey, you better go check what these people are doing. And God already knew, Moses didn't. So when Moses saw, he was incensed, and he dropped the 2 tablets of stone and broke them. Yep. And God ordered him to tell everyone who is on God's side to come to one side, and who is not, then I guess they didn't, and they were ordered to slaughter. Most of them, the sons of, or Levites rather, were ordered to slaughter all the people. I don't know if it was just men who were the instigators, the ones who were doing, because it was idolatry, straight up, and idolatry was punishable by death. So they were killed, and everyone else who took part in it. Sometimes, like I said, people don't agree with something and you go along with it, keeping silence. Silence is consent. And they were plagued. They didn't really elaborate on what the plague was. And that is what gave retribution for their actions of idolatry. It was just straight off blasphemy and saying this is what brought us out of Egypt. Then God just maybe a few years, but was it 2 years? 2 months rather. It was just a couple of months into their departure from Egypt, and here they are worshiping an idol and saying and giving it the glory for their freedom and redemption. So, Moses was willing to step in for the people, that God wouldn't punish them with the plague. God said, nope. Whosoever has sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. No one can stand in his place. Jesus is our stand-in, but if we don't confess our sins to him, to God, through Christ, we are just left with them. You see? So it was the same thing. Moses could not atone for the children. Even though he was Christ-like, he still could not atone for their sins. Every man, and that's how it's going to be at the end, in the last day judgment. No one can step in for anyone. Everyone has to account for him or herself. Unless you had children who were not of age of reasoning and you did not train them right, I guess then you will be held accountable. But other than that, if you had sound mind and reasoning and you just refuse to do the right thing for whatever reason, you are individually responsible. So, chapter 33. And the Lord said unto Moses, depart and go up hence, thou and the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, unto thy seed will I give it. And I will send an angel before thee, and I will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, for I will not go up in the midst of thee. For thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way. And when the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. For the Lord had said unto Moses, say unto the children of Israel, ye are a stiff-necked people. I will come up into the midst of thee in a moment and consume thee. Therefore now put off thy ornaments from thee, that I may know what to do unto thee. And the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the Mount Horeb. And Moses took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, afar off from the camp, and called it the tabernacle of the congregation. And it came to pass that every one which sought the Lord went out unto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp. And it came to pass, when Moses went out unto the tabernacle, that all the people rose up and stood every man at his tent door, and looked after Moses until he was gone into the tabernacle. And it came to pass, as Moses entered into the tabernacle, the cloudy pillar descended and stood at the door of the tabernacle, and the Lord talked with Moses. And all the people saw the cloudy pillar, and all the people rose up and worshipped, every man in his tent door. And the Lord spake unto Moses face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend. And he turned again unto the camp. But his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. And Moses said unto the Lord, See, thou sayest unto me, Bring up this people, and thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast also found grace in my sight. Now therefore I pray thee, if I have found grace in thy sight, show me now thy way, that I may know thee, that I may find grace in thy sight, and consider that this nation is thy people. And he said, My presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. And he said unto him, If thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence. For wherein shall it be known here, that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not in that thou goest with us? So shall we be separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. And the Lord said unto Moses, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name. And he said, I beseech thee, show me thy glory. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of the Lord before thee, and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. And he said, Thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. And the Lord said, Behold, there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon a rock. And it shall come to pass, while my glory passeth by, that I will put thee in a cleft of the rock, and will cover thee with my hand while I pass by. And I will take away my hand, and thou shalt see my back. So I'm thinking it's going to be something like that. My back parts, but my face shall not be seen. Wow. I just think that is awesome. I don't know what Moses saw. Did he just, well, we may hear what he described, or maybe he didn't even say. God only knows. He must have been spellbound. Could not say anything. Speech binded, I should say. I want to say spellbound. Short chapter 33 of Exodus. So, God has plagued the people in chapter 32, and now they're moving on. God said, still, I'm sending an angel before you. I'm going to drive out all the people out of the land of Canaan, all the Canaanites, Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites. And you all will have a land flowing with milk and honey. That's where that term came from. A land flowing with milk and honey. That means they'll have everything they need in this land. But you're a stiff-necked people, and I might consume you while you're on your way to Canaan because of this idolatry and other groanings and complainings and asking for flesh and all that other stuff that they did before. So God said, put off your ornaments. Now I'm going to say this. I know that we like to adorn ourselves with different ornaments. First of all, Aaron told everybody to give up their earrings. That's what they used to make the calf. Now God is telling them, take off your ornaments because they maybe look too much like the Egyptians. They look too much like the pagans, wearing all of those things, because those were pagan customs. Truthfully, that adornment, that every part of your body has a golden ornament on it. I don't know where we hang stuff sometimes, but it's just making you look like one of the pagans. And that's why God said, take it off. Don't wear that stuff. I need to see who my people are. I need to see who the children of Israel are. So they had to remove all that stuff. And then God had Moses and Joshua, I believe, and Joshua was a young man at the time. They went into the tabernacle with God, and God talked with Moses face to face as a man speak with his friend. Oh my goodness, is that a privilege or a major blessing? I mean, few people, and Moses is one, that I know God speak with them face to face. God assured him his presence will go with him. He said unto him, I know you by name, Moses. Does God know my name? I pray he does, and I think he does. I believe God knows me. Only God knows me. And I would tell anybody, only God knows you. Beside you. And sometimes, as a matter of fact, sometimes God knows you better than you know you. Okay? Nobody else can tell you about you but God. And, oh my goodness. But Moses gets curious now. So he wants to see God's face. So he's hearing God's voice, I guess, most of the time. But he's not seeing God's face. So now he wants to see God's face. So God told him, you know what? I won't show you my face because you can't bear it. So I'll put you in the cleft of a rock, and I will pass by you, and then I will keep going, and you can look up and see the back of me. Okay, let's pretend this is the back, and you will see the back of me. And it says my back parts. Oh. And I don't know if Moses ever recorded what he saw. Lord have mercy. It must have been awesome. And that is the end of chapter 33. I thank you all again for listening, for viewing, for commenting when you did. And if you have any thoughts of what you heard, feel free to send me a message. I will be happy to read and respond. And until our next reading, remember, faith comes by hearing God's word. Have a wonderful week ahead. Take care. Bye.